Welcome to day 22 of the query folding challenge. For today's challenge, the instruction says to select product key, sales order number, the date part only for ship date, and sales amount for all ship dates within the previous 7 years. We are using the Adventure Works database and the fact reseller sales table. So let's head over to Power BI. We're here in Power BI. The first step, as usual, is to connect to the data source, which is our database. We select the Adventure Works database, and choose the fact reseller sales table. Then click on OK. Click on OK to import the data. The next step is to select the columns we have been instructed to select. So I can just go to PowerPoint and copy these two columns. I know there's ship date and sales amount. Paste that here. The two columns have been selected. Is there a mistake somewhere? Yes, there is. That has been corrected. Then I know there's ship date, and sales amount. Sales amount. Ship date, sales amount. So we've been able to select these columns. The next step would be to convert this column to date since we've been instructed to select only the date part. So we have product, sales order number, ship date, and sales amount. Now we want the data for the last 7 years. So there are many ways to go about this, but one of the easiest way would be to just use the date function, right? We use the date function, which checks if the date is in previous n years, not previous year, previous n years. That means you are expected to provide a value of n. In this instance, we are looking at the ship date. We want to confirm based on the question if it's in the previous 7 years. Click on 7, then click on OK. Type 7, then close the bracket, then click on OK. Now, you realize that the value for everything is returning false, false, false. And that is because the dates here are far past 7 years. My thought is that the time this challenge was created, 7 years was a reasonable time and a reasonable period, right? For the challenge. So if we adjust these values to 8 years, you see that we still experience the same problem where all the values are false. But I think from 9 years upwards, you should get some results. Let me see. True. So you see, it's in previous any years. So based on the values we pass, it tells us, okay, it's in past 5 years, it's in past 7 years. This is very relevant if you want to filter your data, right? So this is how you check. If you just want data for the last 7 years, last 8 years, this is one of the ways you can do instead of calculating the difference between two periods and doing stuff like that. This saves you that time. So if we select true here, for example, we get to see all the years that are in that period. So we see 2013, just 2013 alone. Then we can remove this column and say we have solved our problem, but that's not efficient. When we started out, one way to do this is to apply the step without adding a column. So one way we can do that is to change this step that has been applied. So if we change this step to select rows, we are not adding a column, so we take this step out. Now we want to select rows where the ship date is in previous 9 years. Just click on OK, and you have your data. You see that a filter has been applied here. You can also click on this place to see the filter that has been applied is in previous 9 years. This is one way to go about it. Another way you can go about it is to come here and apply the filter manually, which is what you saw just now, right? Where you see it's in the previous 9 years. You can do this as well. Whichever one works for you. Let me do that so you can see it. You can just come here and say you want to apply filters where the date is in previous. Provide the value 9, not days. So here you want to choose years, then click on OK. It still gives you the same result. You see that the function we wrote out manually is still the same function that has been generated, right? So anyone that you solves the problem for you and you are happy, you can always change the value to previous 10 years. But based on what we have in the question, previous 7 years returns blank since the date has adjusted since the challenge was created. Get that? Then the most important thing is to always confirm that query folding is working fine. View native query. Query folding is working fine, so we have no cause for alarm. We are safe. So this saves us any problem that we may encounter. So we have come to the end of today's challenge. Please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like the video. If you have comments, if you have questions or comments, drop them. Now I really want to appreciate everyone who has been liking and sharing the video, and for everyone who has commented. I really appreciate you. Thank you. See you tomorrow.